On today's episode in the lab, bike number 4 has finally come home. Now, over the past couple days, I've been doing some cleaning of my garage. Not this garage. This garage isn't my garage, as I've explained in multiple videos. This is the family's garage. It's basically storage. So now, with that being said, my garage basically got it clean enough to where I can start moving all the bikes into one garage. I can actually start figuring out storage as far as the bike parts, getting some shelves and racks in the garage, so that way, you know, I can better store things and things will be easier to find. But I digress. Baby girl's come home. Now this is an Ice Bear Fuerza. I know you're probably looking at it, if you know what a Fuerza is, like, that don't look like a Fuerza because of the length and the height, right? Now, for those who know, that bike right there, I originally stole everything I needed to shorten and stretch that bike from this bike. That swing arm is the stock swing arm for this bike. The stock shock for this bike, I replaced that shock with that shock right there, which I still have. It is just the bushings in it is blown. Cool. And I ended up bending the left fork when I high-sided the bike around when I first got it. I want to say it was like 3, maybe 4 months in. I forgot how long, but anyway, I high-sided it one time, bent the fork. So that's what ended up getting me the adjustable forks on this bike. So everything that came off of this bike, I put onto here. So those are the stock forks that came off of here. That's the stock swing arm that came off of my little monster. And that's the stock shock that came off of my little monster, along with the chain. Because I did take the chain as well, but I did replace that chain on this bike. So today is going to be the day that I'm going to swap this motherfucker. Now, for those who don't know, once again, which most people don't know, when I bought this bike, I originally was going to set it up for stunting. So with that being said, the way the bike was set up, the harness was fucked up. The engine mounts on the stock engine that was on this bike was fucked up. And it was a couple other things. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just convert this to a no light harness, which is exactly what I did. And put a number plate on here. The tail light, that's just there just to be there, so it's not a open hole. But realistically, I'm thinking about making a blanking plate or just tearing that light apart, which I already cut the wire, so it don't even matter if I tear it apart, and just using the plate. Yeah, so no electrics. Only thing it has is start. So what I had to do for this harness was figure out where I was going to put the ignition, which I put it right here where the seat lock is. Only thing it needs is, because I'm doing this swap, I'm going to take off this wire from this engine, which is the start with the ground on it, to plug into the harness. Boom. And I got to change out the gear sensor, because on this engine, the stock engine that this one came with originally, I cut the sensor because the engine was already fucked up. So because I was going with no gauge or anything, I don't need a gear selector, well, a gear position sensor. So I cut the wires off of that, but oil would leak out of there if you don't have that in there. So I got to replace that with the neutral sensor on this engine. And I'm thinking it should just plug in with the stator, because I think this is a 5-wire just like that. Yes, it is. It is a 5-wire. So yeah, it should plug right in. And yeah, that should be simple enough. So basically, I already started yesterday. I only stopped because at the time I needed a 14 so I could hold the axle on one side. I had a 17. I don't know what happened with my 9/16, but anyway, got one from my other garage. So yep, this engine is ready to come out. Get the rear sets off or moved so I could get to the bottom engine mount bolt, put the jack under. I already got that one off. I just need to get to the bottom one. Got the sprocket off. Yeah, this swap is gonna be real simple. I gotta throw a battery on here. I actually forgot to charge one. Damn it. Forgot to charge a battery. But anyway, yeah, let me just get started. The next frame, y'all gonna see if this bike is at least gonna be with the engine out, which is probably gonna take me all of like maybe 10 minutes realistically. I want to record it, but I don't have enough memory to record everything. So I'll see y'all in the next part. Boom, engine is out, right? So now what I gotta do is take this ground and this power off so I can keep this connector to plug back up to the harness. And once again, this is a 5-pin. This is a 5-pin, so it should just plug right up right there. Now I did take out the neutral sensor. Now because this one has a Phillips screw, I'm actually gonna replace that, but there is also one thing that I need to do before I actually do anything, which is going to be drill out these holes for the bigger bolts. Because yes, as you can see, I have the 3/8 bolts. So let me find my 3/8 drill bit so I can drill that out and get that up. Alright, so moment of truth. I basically daisy chained the batteries because this cable is so short, it's only good for a small battery. So I'm gonna have to extend the power and the ground cables so I can put a bigger battery in it. But right now, I don't have any gas in it. I'm actually just hitting it with some brake clean. This is my ignition. Okay. Let's see. Hey, okay. I got the 190 to start. Now with that being said, I just need some gas and I can take off on it. I ended up putting this exhaust on it just because. I didn't want to put that exhaust on. I'm not taking that off of that bike until I get the exhaust made for that bike. But with that being said, you heard it start. The only thing it needed is power, ground, and that plugged right in. So with that being said, I'm actually going to put some gas in this motherfucker so I could take it out for a little test ride, see how it's gonna feel or whatever. Honestly, I think this bike is gonna feel better than this one, which I'm not even mad at it. That's kind of why I did this. Now, you're probably wondering why I swapped this. Because I was actually going to just put that carburetor onto this engine, but the head broke off of that one. So I said, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna swap it. And I started last night. Sun was already down. I started and yeah, ended up just needing a 14. That was it. If I had the 14 last night, I could have had the engine pulled. But anyway, got the cover on and cut. What else did I do? The carb, I just got it facing this way. What else is it? I'm going to need to just lengthen that power in the ground for the bigger battery. I'm gonna have to actually mount the exhaust under there onto the engine and actually adjust the clutch. Now I actually did turn it this way because I can actually adjust the throttle from this side, so that's why I have it facing that way. Well, not the throttle, the carburetor. So with that being said, I just need some gas so I could start this bitch and go, realistically. One more thing I ended up doing was I deconstructed the tail light, so it's just the black plate. Yeah, like I said, this one, because it's already kind of in beat up condition, I got the plastics on as firm as I could get them. It's gonna be the stunt bike or dirt bike. I don't know yet which way I'm gonna go with the build, but the 190 is in it. I heard it start. That gave me motivation to get that one started, but that one's still just a custom build, so it's gonna come together when it comes together. With that being said, let me get some gas. Alright, so I got the 190 running on this motherfucker. I decided to come to the other garage where this one is because I'm gonna do a oil change on. I want to ride it from here to the other garage, so then that way I warm up whatever oil was in there, drain it, and then I'll actually start to do, you know, some type of test miles on it. Now with this one's a stunt bike, right? So it's either gonna be stunt or dirt. With that being said, I don't have a gauge on there, so I won't be able to know as far as miles. Now I will just go by hours. So basically, I come outside, let's just say I started up at 8 o'clock and I ride it till 6 o'clock. That's 10 hours. I'll do an oil change and then, you know, go from there. But basically, that's how I'm gonna end up doing the oil changes on this until I get an hour meter for this bike. Once again, I don't know what I'm gonna turn this one to yet. It might be a stunt bike, it might be a dirt bike. But honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards a sumo, realistically. So, yeah, now I will say this. So far, like, the suspension feels better than the old reliable. So, I'm kind of glad that I did throw this engine in here. This is the exhaust that came off of old reliable. You probably can't hear it running because of that bike. But this one's running. It is louder than the 125. I got it to just go, it started right the fuck up. Literally started right up. Gave it a little bit of choke. And yeah. Now I'm just actually gonna have to tune that carburetor. This is the one that came with the bike. So I'll see tomorrow what's what. But like I said, first thing in the morning, I'm gonna do an oil change on it. I might actually want to change this to a regular banjo bolt too. But if I do that, I'm gonna have to bleed. So I don't know, I'll figure that out. I will figure this shit out. This one, I'm gonna have to look for rear sets in a 12 bar. I already know where I can get a cheap 12 bar from. It's brand new. It's just a matter of me going to get it, I guess. But either way, I can get a 12 bar, and I'm gonna need harder rear sets for this bike, because the last thing I'm gonna need is for me to be doing something and then the fucking pad comes off. So yeah, it kind of looked like these is in different positions, but either way. Oh yeah, so the ignition is right here off the side. I can't even show you what a light because my fucking phone's about to die, but yeah, this is the ignition. Turn that on, start, kill, start, kill, nothing else. Just two buttons. Starts right up. 94 octane in that motherfucker. I will be back out tomorrow, so y'all will see this in some sunshine. I meant to get a cold start, but honestly, I was kind of excited. Now, I'm running the same exhaust that I was running on the 125. I just tucked it under there. I'm just gonna have to do something with the mount so I can get it to mount in either one of those holes. But yeah, get that figured out, and then that'll be good. But I'm honestly about to change the wheels to the white walls, and that'll change the brakes and everything. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I was gonna do? Was there anything else I was gonna do? No, I think just the wheels. Yeah, I think just the wheels. Alright, I'll see when I get to the other garage. You know what? I'll tell you one thing. It's already starting to look a little bit better. Now, because it's going to be a stunt bike, and I don't have any need for any of the accessories, but the only thing is I couldn't get a keyless gas cap. This is my solution. So basically, I used the ring to turn it, but I got the key cut short. Right now, basically, I can't turn it as locked because the cap itself is actually wedged in, right? But the only thing I got to do is I lift it up, and then I can turn the key. And then it keeps everything together. But yeah, press that down, rope that down a little bit, make sure it's down, and then yeah. So that stays in. The key, the actual ignition, the start. So to avoid this from flapping around or getting caught up in the chain, that's how I turn it off and on. So right now it's off, right now it's on, and it's funny because I've actually left it on since I've been out here, and I kind of forgot it was on, but I digress. Yeah, push button start, kill. Just that simple. Once again, put the white walls on here. I did notice that that rear tire was flat. That might have been something that I've been feeling on that bike. I don't know how it got so low, but yeah, the tire itself is low, so I'm about to actually go put some air in that, or not, because if this is gonna be a stunt bike, I'm gonna need the figure out the tire pressure on that rear. But hey, look, and look. So I did change it to one of the Zamosa CDIs that I had, and I got the RPM set to 10,000. So right now I'm not going past 10,000 while I break it in. Once I break it in, then I'll set it to 12,000. So after my third oil change, then I'll actually unleash the power of this damn thing and see what I can get as far as going full throttle with it, like throughout the whole RPM range. But once again, stunt build. So right now the gearing is still stock rear 34. I just changed to my super light, my homemade super light. In the front is whatever came on the 190, which I think is a 15 if I'm remembering correct. So 15 34. I haven't tried to get the wheel up yet, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna come up pretty easily. I was able to get the wheel up on this shit, so I know for a fact I can get it up with the 190. Now I'm about to clean up. I did want to actually bolt this up. I just got to get some bolts and nuts so I could actually mount that. That's actually what came with the bike originally, so realistically, until I get a 12 bar for the bike, this is going to be back here just in case. Right, just in case. So yeah, got that taken care of. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I knew I wasn't tripping. The fucking rear passenger peg is in a different spot. I knew I was not tripping. What the fuck? You see how much lower the right side is than the left? I'm not tripping. Why is it like that? Why is that one back here and that one's over there? It's the same rear set, and it's bolted in correct. It only goes in one way. What the fuck? Anyway, damn, that just threw me off a little bit. I ain't even gonna lie. Trying to figure out what I want to do under here. I did kind of come up with well, this plate came with the bike once again, but I was trying to see if I could actually just make a block off plate to just completely block it off. But if I were to use this, I have to keep cutting it in a certain spot. I don't know, I'm still contemplating, just contemplating. But yeah, realistically, I'm thinking of actually using it, and then that way from the bottom you don't really see anything. But realistically, this is just the license plate mount. That's all it is. It's a stock license plate mount that came with it. I'm just not using a plate, so yeah, I'm flipping it. But yeah, let me I guess go check the tire pressures. I got gas in it. I filled up the tank basically. Put on some test miles, I guess. Okay, so first initial impressions of the 190. It's pretty quick with the gearing that I got right now, which is what would be a quote-unquote homemade super light 34 and the stock 15 tooth, which at 10,000 RPM in fifth gear, I was able to hit 68 miles per hour. With my rev limiter set to 10,000 RPM, I hit 68 miles per hour in fifth gear. So yeah, I'm doing that in fifth gear at 6,000 RPM on the 300. So just keep that in mind, all right? Well, last I did one of these tests. Now, as far as engine runtime, I probably want to say I got like 3.5 hours of runtime total so far. Like I said, I'm going based off of hours, not miles, because I don't have a speedometer to keep track of it. But yeah, runtime as far as the engine goes, I'm more so at like 3 hours, 3.5 so far. Actually, no, on the oil change itself, it's probably like 2. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably at 2 hours because I just did the oil change today. And I ain't really do much riding or anything. I was turning it on to check things like the fucking the clutch cable. Yeah, I had to adjust the clutch cable. One thing that I'm not liking is the rear brake, so I'm just gonna have to adjust that. However, but I'm gonna have to have that come up some way somehow because once again, this is gonna be my stunt bike. I actually did go out a little bit and just I went to my friend's house and I was just riding up and down his block, and it gets the wheel up, all gas, no clutch. If I want to, I can just pop it up. It's just a matter of me learning. So yeah, I got some learning to do, honestly. But yeah, no lights set up. I did put a plate on it, but that's honestly, I don't even know why the fuck I did that. But I might take it off and just leave the black plate. I might just leave the block off plate. No lights once again. It's literally just throttle, start, kill, clutch, brake, engine. That's it. So simple. Oh wait, and ignition. But yeah, other than that, loving it so far. The other bike, I noticed when I went to take this wheel off of Old Reliable that the hub, the bearing in there is fucked. That's what that one was that I was feeling. Now this bearing, there is some notchiness in there too. Now I do have hub bearings if I want to replace any of them. I do have, I think, like 3 brand new hub bearings, so I can replace them. It's just a matter of me doing it, honestly. Not too concerned as of right now with this one because this is just a stunt bike. I do want to figure out what I'm gonna want to get for it. So 12 bar definitely. Rear sets definitely gonna want to change those, and maybe bar ends. And I don't know about axle sliders. I heard axle sliders do actually worse when you're stunting. They do worse than helping. Like if you end up well, no, it's just, I don't know. I've heard stories about the axle sliders, so I'm contemplating on a stunt build. But because there's no options as far as like cages goes, sub cages. Well, not sub, because 12 bars is a sub cage if I'm remembering correct. But as far as like engine cage, I'm gonna just leave that how it is and try to go as wide down here and up here to match the bars, basically, with bar ends. If it drops, the bar ends catch and the pegs end up catching. But I actually came to the other garage because I'm actually about to switch bikes. Like I said, I ain't got no lights and it's starting to get dark, so I do want to still ride a little bit at least. So I'm about to hop on that for now. With that being said, though, I'm gonna call it an episode with this one. I got the 190 on. I got it running. I got it riding. I got different wheels on it with better bearings, honestly. The wheel bearings on those are better. I did swap to the Grom axles that I had on the other bike. What else did I do? I changed the spacers as well with those. Whatever came off of this bike went on that bike. Whatever came off of that bike went on this bike. The sprocket, I changed that one to my original sprocket off of my little monster, which this suspension setup, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it already, is the little monster setup. So it's actually pretty fucking like springy. Like it's pretty good, honestly, compared to my KP. Honestly, the KP suspension is like, I'm trying to figure out what to compare it to, because I like to have fun on them. This is a fun suspension setup because you could just bounce around whenever you see a speed bump. You could preload it and jump over the shit. You know, the KP, you can do it, but it don't do as good as this. It don't, honestly. Still need to get another rear shock for that, another adjustable. But with tariffs and everything, I'm looking at it like, so yeah, I gotta figure that one out. But yeah, one more thing. So as far as the velocity stat goes, right, I tried to put a filter on it, foam filter, and it didn't like it. I couldn't go full throttle, so I took that off and just I'm gonna run with the mesh screen, if anything, if not just for now, because I actually did order a carb for this engine, so it's just a matter of when that comes in. I'll figure out fitment with that and all that extra shit. If I didn't mention it, that's how the key is. I can still turn it off and on, but I don't gotta worry about this just blowing in the wind or getting caught in the chain. And because I can't find a keyless gas cap, this is my solution. So this is just gonna live in here. Realistically, I don't care. The only key that's coming out is the ignition key. That's gonna live there. But yeah, I mean, shit. It slides, the brakes lock up, the wheel comes up. It's pretty fucking good. So on that note, I'm gonna just tell y'all to keep being spontaneous. Keep surprising yourself. If you see something and you like it, buy two. Because yeah, if it wasn't for me buying 2 engines, I wouldn't be able to be having this Fuerza with a 190 right now. If it wasn't for me buying 2 sets of those 14s, I wouldn't have the world's first KP Mini with matching 14s or a matching set of aftermarket wheels for that. But you like something, you see it, buy 2, because you never know. You just never know. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Stay motivated.